Hello, SpeedGaming. Welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer No Logic Tournament of 2022. This is a game 3 between Tam and Doomtap. And Tam is a very experienced runner of pretty much all modes and categories, and Doomtap is newer to No Logic, but he is near the top of the leaderboard on several categories. It looks like we're getting started. Sank Start versus Link's House. Always interesting to see immediate divergence. Tam is doing a simple out-of-bounds clip to get to the man under the bridge. So what No Logic is, for those who are not aware, it is a mode where the items are placed completely at random with no regards to any kind of accessibility, and we are allowed to do several major glitches in order to beat the game regardless of that. And it should be pretty interesting. These are two very skilled runners. Tam is setting up a swim clip, and he gets it very quickly to go to Ice Rod Cave. Meanwhile, Doomtap is just exploring the North Light World. He sees a key on Lumberjack, which is not going to be important at all. Bombs from the bush crab is a really good sign for an easier start. Sometimes resources can be a little tight in the early game, or even later as well. A map on the island is interesting. Unless it's the Hyrule Castle or Ganon's Tower map, it could prove to be worth getting. Or I suppose if it's the green pendant, it wouldn't be worth the time either, because you can find that out from talking to Sahasrara. Doomtap going to town immediately. Doesn't want to bother with the mountain with no weapons other than bombs, which is understandable. So another thing about this format is that there are 2 copies of each rod in the item pool, the 2 fire rods and 2 ice rods. And that is done for several reasons. I personally think it just makes the format better, but that's my opinion. And the flippers at Kakariko could prove very valuable if Swamp is a crystal. However, both of them are almost certainly going to get that. I mean, it's possible that Kakariko could be skipped, but well, we'll see. There's Samaria in the well. That's a huge item. I really hope that Tam goes to Kakariko now. Maybe he doesn't have to immediately, but that is going to be a huge advantage if Tam never gets that. The Ganon's Tower big key in the back of the bar is one of the 4 Cave State big keys, and I'll explain more about that when it comes up, but basically 4 keys are special for arbitrary randomizer coding reasons. So Tam is doing a Death Mountain ascent, which is, in this case, it's just a clip to get into the Old Man Rescue Cave without using the glove. It's the same one that is used in many speedruns in the RMG category. Or RMG rule set, I should say. Meanwhile, Doomtap is already into Desert, which is generally treated as part of the overworld in glitched modes, regardless of if it's a pendant or a crystal. And since this is a key sanity mode, the runners do not know if it's a pendant or crystal, or for any of the dungeons actually, unless they find out by finding a map, or talking to Sahasrara or the bomb shop owner, or simply defeating the boss. Well, or it's defeating a boss while in that dungeon state, I should say. The sword is really nice. I said the rules of this tournament state that all 7 crystal bosses must be defeated, and their crystals must be collected, which will not always happen at the same time, depending on what items our runners have available to them and how they want to route the seed. But oftentimes, we will enter a dungeon and then use a glitch to transport ourselves to another dungeon. So that keeps the same dungeon state, or dungeon ID rather, of the dungeon we originally entered from. And Doomtap has done what is known as a quadrant glitch to reach the right side of Desert without using a key. A fire rod in K45 is nice to have early. Just having a fire source is helpful for doing checks, and it's a good weapon as well. It's also worth noting that in this mode, you do not need any specific set of items to beat the game. There are a variety of different combinations of items you can use to accomplish what you need to. However, you for sure will need the Master Sword or better, and a fire source for Ganon. And Tam is doing what's known as a door juke. He's attempting to do item snaps using bombs, which basically is a way to move Link a certain amount of pixels at one time. So basically you get on the other side of the transition and approach it from the other side. And so because of that, he was able to get to the King's Tomb location from Mini Moldorm Cave. I missed some discussion in chat or some comments, and yeah, I've actually done that play before. It's an interesting point. Doomtap could have used Samaria in Desert to go to a number of places. He could have went to Thieves Town, he could have went to the back of Swamp as well, by using what is known as a Samaria transition corruption. And the fight would have been doable as long as the Argus fight, as long as he did it in such a way where he was able to keep the puffs from attacking him. As we may see a hookless Argus fight in this race. so it'll be more obvious what I'm talking about. But anyway, Tam finds out that Desert is the green pendant, and Doomtap is doing the same door juke that Tam already did to get to King's Tomb. Yeah, you could steal the attic key to go to Desert, though, or to go to Swamp from Desert. If you open the Thieves Town attic and then just go downstairs and take the key and Death Warp on the spikes, then you can use that key to open the door because you don't need it in Thieves Town. So it's really not as that much of a hassle if you don't mind prepping Thieves Town for a later clear and getting the attic item. We see Hammer on the Spectacle Rock, which is a good find, because it's a good weapon, more so than a progression item, although it will make certain checks a lot easier. The hammer definitely can be valuable to have. Oh, Tam's being very careful with this dead rock. He really wants the flutes. Looks like he's gonna give, or it looks like they are going to give up on that for now. I apologize to Tam. I'm really bad with pronouns sometimes. Anyways, they have found another way to get to the floating island. That's cool. I didn't know you could teleport from that little bump, but that looked like slightly irregular, as a terrain pattern. That was really cool. I'm very curious if Doomtap is going to check Zora. Generally, I think most people agree that it's pretty risky to spend 500 rupees on Zora, but it looks like he's going to do it anyway. Because there's so few items that are worth that amount of money, because some of the main glitches that we would use to access areas we're generally not able to get to would be through using potions, which are very expensive. And we have seen runners do like a Zora Death Mountain descent from a save and quit to save scum the rupees. Doomtap is doing a very quick citrus to set up a funny auto walk thing and get the map on the island. And that is the actual name of the glitch, if you were curious. We call it FOT for short, but whenever you transition or activate a screen transition while you're standing on top of it, you get the auto walk that you just saw, so he was able to ignore the water and collision and just go straight to the island. I didn't mention it before, but the ice rod was in Sahasrara's closet, so the first copies of both of the rods are very easily accessible, and that's really nice to see, because one of the things I really like about No Logic is that you're usually not hard gated by any particular item or item location that you skipped. or anything like that. And so, Trinex, if it is a crystal, is one of the most difficult things to deal with, because there simply is no way of defeating that boss without both of the rods. So, since they have both of the rods, this is definitely, I would think, going to be more interesting of a race, because if you're just looking for one of the rods, it kind of just turns into like any other mode where you're just like tediously full clearing the game looking for the one item. So Tam is doing the Kakariko check, so they will get the Samaria and the flippers as well, and the GT big key. I don't know if anything else was important. And I can't help but wonder how long they would have put this off if the flute was not easily available. But nonetheless, they are here, and I'm glad, because Samaria is one of the most powerful items in the game, if not the most powerful. I mean, many would probably say that bottles are more powerful, but Samaria is useful for a variety of reasons and can be used in combination with other items as well to do other glitches. You know, it's both good standalone and to help with other glitches. Whereas bottles pretty much are just good for bottle glitches, which, speaking of which, I'm a little surprised we haven't seen any. There are 4 of them, for sure. And, looked like we got a save scum of the mushroom, which it could be interesting for a variety of reasons, not just fake powder for checking the magic bat, but fake powder can be used for other things, and I'm not sure if we're going to see that or not, but Doomtap is swim clipping, and if he does this correctly, he'll be able to get into the back of escape without using a glove. And he gets it. Very nice. There are a couple different ways you can set that up, and he used the lower one, which either way is fine as long as you know which Y coordinate you need to be on roughly. So, meanwhile, Tam is going to desert. So with that other sword in desert, and both rods easily available, this seed is going to be potentially very difficult for the runners if they try to go for the end game as soon as possible, but I'd imagine they will be doing quite a few checks still. As Tam does not know that they are about to find the fire rod after they do these desert checks. But meanwhile, Doomtap is rescuing the old man. So, Tam is doing the Samaria transition corruption that I mentioned, that you can go to Thieves Town. And this is really good just for efficiency. So you can do Thieves Town much faster if you do the top first. Big Key of Eastern could be helpful, although certainly not required. And Tam is doing exactly what I said, and stealing the key. Because once you have already checked the item and opened the floor, there's no need to use that key in Thieves Town anymore. And it counts as a desert small key because he never officially entered Thieves Town as far as the game is concerned. His dungeon ID, or the dungeon ID, was desert, because they originally entered in desert. And I'm not sure what they're doing right now. Okay, this is another Samaria transition corruption, but I'm not sure what the result of this will be, though. Doomtap is going to have a much easier time picking up the flute, having a sword to deal with these dead rocks, although accidentally blocked himself. You can boots clip to get around the dead rocks when that happens. If you have a little space to wiggle in, then that's allowed in glitched modes. Okay, so Tam has made a mistake. This is definitely not the result they were hoping for. And so would have either had to save and quit or take a death warp, like so. I apologize to our tracker, Mad Ewok. I do not know if Tam went into Hera or not. I would suspect they did, because it's a regular thing to do in a glitched mode when you're on the mountain, is to do the first two checks. And the hammer was available to hit the switches, but I honestly don't remember if they went in there or not. So whatever Tam was trying to accomplish in the other door, they have decided to move on to this door. And this STC, I know what's going to happen. There are a couple things we could do, but this is most likely a play to the back of Swamp. If you do a single East STC, and then transition north from the room, or with the popos, it will take you to the diver down room in the back of Swamp. And that is exactly what we're seeing right now. Powder is okay. Big Key of Pod is okay too. Although the powder is actually more valuable than it otherwise would be, because in this mode it can be used to set an index. And the bow, wow, that is those two together are a very big find. But the absence of the lamp makes the powder a stronger item than it otherwise would be, because of index setting, which is manipulating a variable called the Ancilla search index, which can be used for mislotting, and I'll explain more about that when we start seeing some of that, which I'm pretty sure we will at some point. So Doomtap has gotten his second sword, and Tam is getting their fire rod. Doomtap is setting up a clip called Kiki Skip, and this is to go into Pod from Spectacle Rock Cave. And since Doomtap did not officially enter the dungeon through the front door, there is no dungeon ID set right now. So as far as the game is concerned, this is still a cave, and the rules of Cave State are that you have 255 small keys, and if you have one of the 4 Cave State big keys, you can open any big key locks, such as the doors or big chests. And the 4 keys that allow you to do that are the GT Big, Thieves Town, Pod, and Hyrule Castle big keys. First glove in the big key chest of Pod, which is probably a little annoying because that swim clip to get to the back of Escape isn't like the quickest thing to do, but nonetheless, the glove is a very convenient item to have. And that cape that he just acquired, not that Doomtap would need it, because Doomtap's a highly skilled runner, but with the Master Sword and the cape, the Helma fight is basically free now. Which, by the way, also they do not need any items other than bombs to reach the boss. There's a glitch that pretty much happens in every no logic seed that you can use to get to Helmasaur without going the normal way through the dungeon. So Tam is doing a quadrant glitch in Eastern, and this will allow them to check the chest, which is visible right now, and at the same time also access the big key chest without walking all the way around. Oh, another thing about doing the clip from Spec Rock to Pod is that all the sprites are despawned because it wraps the entire underworld map, so that's why there are no enemies. And the falling bridge is controlled by an invisible sprite, so that is not present either. So the Pod is a pretty safe place to go and no logic if you just are looking for items. And we are getting a full clear of Eastern from Tam, which makes sense. With the bow and the big key, you don't need to do anything fancy. You could put off the boss until later in hopes that you'll get a hook pushing item set, which Tam is very close to having right now. But already being here, it makes sense to just complete the dungeon, though. The pretty standard Armos Knights quick kill from Tam. And gets the first crystal on the board at 27 minutes and 26 seconds. Very nice. So Doomtap has reloaded Pod, and so now is officially in Pod state. As you can see, it looks pretty normal now. There are a few things that he can decide to do from here. I'm not sure what he's going to do. The most obvious one would be to go to the boss, which it looks like he's setting up right now. This is called Statue Drag to Helmasaur. And since they don't have the mirror, they have to do this extra step at the start as part of the setup. So he's storing the statue pulling animation, as you can see, and when you take damage before releasing the A button, it stores the statue drag animation. And the significance of that is you can use that animation to bypass a transition, and we're about to see that. Tam also going to Pod. So when you place 2 bombs in the door and move a precise distance, it snaps you onto a certain pixel, which allows you to juke the camera like that, and then you use the statue pulling animation to get past the front entrance without triggering a transition. And so from here, you need to manipulate the camera and step on the switch a couple times, and he's about to be in the Helmasaur fight. And the hammer is very nice luxury for this fight. So there are many seeds where the hammer is just not going to be available. It's either trapped behind itself or somewhere you're just never going to go. So I'd imagine this is a comfortable fight for Doomtap, because he has a very high time, or very low time, I mean, in AD RMG, which does this fight with 4 hearts, green mail as well. And gets the fight done very quickly, very nice. Yeah, that's an interesting point being discussed in chat by our tracker and someone else, is that they are technically in the light world in Pod, and also Pod is a crystal, so that's good. Doomtap gets his first crystal. Because a world transition was not made through the use of a portal, they were in fake Dark World, which means the map will not display any Dark World information for crystals or pendants. And I'll talk more about that when it comes up later, but fake worlds are vanilla behavior of the game that is normally patched out of a no glitches randomizer. So Doomtap is now in the real Dark World, we can see, because he's a bunny. And this looks like a GT play, although I'm not familiar with this setup for the clip. Oh, interesting. That looks faster if you know how to do it. So with the hammer and Samari and Fire Rod, you could pretty much clear GT the normal way. I mean, the hook shot is not that hard to bypass in the GT basement, so, but for all, like, intents and purposes, this will be pretty normal basement clear. He's probably just looking for more items to help with navigation. Those would be, like, bottles, or the mirror, or the moon pearl. Although it is worth noting that he could have taken his Fire Rod and Master Sword to Skull Woods and had a fairly simple clear of that dungeon, although we don't have info on it, so we don't know if it's a pendant or crystal or not, but you would still at least get item checks and information. Because even as a bunny, you are able to clip through the wall on the mountain and do a Death Mountain descent or DMD. But this is a density play for items, so it's not an uncommon play at all to go to Ganon's Tower whenever you feel like it. But so far not finding anything though. And meanwhile, Tam is doing their statue drag to Helmasaur as well. They're going to get their second crystal very shortly. Can't imagine Tam will have that much trouble with this fight. Okay, second crystal for Tam. And if Doomtap does all 22 checks in Ganon's Tower, or 23 I guess, because he has the big key, then, and doesn't find anything, this is going to be a pretty large time loss, unfortunately. So Tam is already arguably slightly ahead. There are checks in Pod I'm pretty sure he didn't do. Yeah, clearly he did not full clear it, but I don't know, we'll see. But it is interesting that he saved some of these chests because one of the many uses of Samaria in this mode is you can use it to duplicate items by copying the contents of the state of the treasure chests in one room to another room. So if you copy like closed chests onto open chests, it closes them and you can open them again and get whatever item was in them again. So many experienced no logic runners have commented that they tend to open the chests in a different order in Pod if they have Samaria. So it'll be curious. I don't think there was anything like valuable here, but it is interesting to see how these runners choose to route the dungeon. And Tam having the bow is going to do this a little more quickly because they can just death warp out of the right side instead of running all the way back through the rooms. And this fight is kind of unfortunate. Sword beams are the best method he has to deal with this, but he's generating a lot of lag by putting that Samaria block on screen and then not damaging anything with it. Although it is protection, I suppose. Oh yeah, this is an old game, and the more sprites you have on screen, the slower it gets. So Tam is setting up a quadrant glitch, and if he succeeds, he's going to be able to set up a Samaria transition corruption. Ooh, Hookshot is behind Ice Armos. That is exactly what Doomtap needed to find to make this. Although, by itself, it doesn't really do that much, but potentially, with other items, he could do hook pushing, which is a very powerful glitch. So, meanwhile, Tam is doing the STC in combination with the quadrant glitch, and he has successfully wrong warped to Hera from pod. And this is a fairly significant play due to the fact that the way he would normally do this involves using a red or blue potion, and they don't have any bottles available to them right now. And Doomtap is trapped, so I don't know what he's trying to do right now. Oh, he's doing a fake powder index. Very cool. Alright, so maybe Doomtap might be setting up a hook push. So by activating the powder, or in this case fake powder, while you have some of your front and Scylla slots filled, be that with arrows, or in his case he used the Samaria block explosion. And then, so you do that, and then activate the powder, and then there's like a couple frames. It's not extremely precise, but if you save and quit during the sound of the powder animation, it imitates the effect of the lamp, at least as far as the search index is concerned. It sets a high value, and we need that value to be 10 or higher to do the easiest way to mislot things. Just regular powder indexing without the save and quit would have resulted in a value of 6, which can be useful, but generally not as useful. It's harder to use. And Doomtap has done a citrus clip and a screen wrap to do a little shortcut to Eastern. Meanwhile, Tam has used the pod big key. I'm assuming it was the pod big key. Well, either way, he opened the door to Hera, which is important because he has the Hera big key. I'm sorry. Never mind that. I was thinking part of this warping was to open the door, but apparently he didn't need to do that. I'm not sure. Well, either way, he is in Hera now, and he's going to fight the boss. Or they are. Oh, excuse me. A good Moldorm fight, just a heart container, and a crystal. That's 3 crystals already for Tam. This is a very good pace so far. And that's not surprising, because Tam has been known to finish a lot of these in around an hour, 10 minutes, or 20 minutes or so. I missed the map check. I unfortunately don't know what information they had, but looks like we are getting a Bunny DMD using a citrus clip. This is the Skullwoods play I was talking about earlier, and Doomtap is thinking It does not have the eastern big key that Tam found in... Pretty sure that was Swamp. The Doomtap could have deleted the big key door, and I know he knows how to do this, but it is a little time consuming to set up without the mirror, though. And then you do have to walk all the way through the dungeon again. It looked like he might have been thinking of trying to hook push to Mire, because that room he was in, with the compass chest, is the room you would do that from. So meanwhile, Tam has done the bunny DMD, and is in the Dark World, exploring. This is probably a Skullwoods play. There's not too much you can do in the Dark World without the mirror, or like a bottle, or, I mean, obviously the Moon Pearl, but they don't have that either. So, once Tam death warps inside Skullwoods, he'll be in the fake Dark World, which, it means the value in the game is set to Light World, but since they are already on Dark World Overworld Super Tile, it becomes the fake Dark World, meaning they can still explore everything on this screen, like including Skullwoods and all of its entrances, as Link instead of as a bunny. But because it is the fake Dark World, once a screen transition is taken, it will load a Light World screen instead. And this is a vanilla behavior of the game that is normally patched out of No Glitches Randomizer. And we're getting a North STC, which is going to copy the contents of the big key chest to this chest. Oh, this death warp is not actually necessary because of the corruption. You can take the right side door and it puts you in the big chest room and you can exit out the front, but the death warping works too. Either way, the dungeon has been reset. Although it's just coincidentally, it was the same item in both chests, so it looks like he just duped the chest, which was not the case. It does, however, dupe the chest above that one. Doomtap gets his second crystal. And back into Hera. I am guessing this is a swamp play, because the Hera small key is generally used to unlock swamp from the inside out. Because we generally don't have front door access, being that they don't have the Moon Pearl and the mirror. But they do have flippers, which is certainly a nice luxury. Yeah, right now we're seeing a clip. This is called a dash citrus. There are at least 3 different ways to do this clip. It gives up on the dash citrus, goes for the old-fashioned one frame, but it does it very quickly though. Yeah, it's really interesting that Doomtap has the hook shot. It can actually do the dungeon normally. Although I do not believe they flooded the dam before doing the play to Hera. I could be wrong about that, but if that's the case, they won't be able to re-enter once they exit. This could just be an unlocking play, not an item check play. Yeah, he did not flood the dam, so this is, well, this is still fake Light World, so he's not actually in the Dark World. He can't really go anywhere from here, at least not that he couldn't already go. And meanwhile, Tam has done a nice moth fight. And gets a crystal, wow. 4 crystals already, and the map of ice is good, because I don't think we had info on that. Alright, Doomtap, back in the Dark World. I'd have to imagine this is a Skullwoods play, because they don't really have that many items to help them get around. The TR is a crystal, not that that's going to be a huge issue, but Trinex can be difficult to get to, but having both rods already is very reassuring. Doomtap is doing the same citrus that we saw from Tam already, just citrus bunny DMD. A Tam into the back of escape. Don't remember what was here, but we'll see again. Yeah, it was nothing important. Okay. Okay, we're getting Hyrule Castle play from Tam. This makes sense, because they have exhausted, like, most of their checks that are, like, fairly simple to do. That Ganon's tower play from Doomtap might prove to be very valuable if he finds other items that can help him hook push, like, more easily. A big key of Desert. Well, Desert's the green pendant, so that's not extremely helpful, although they could use that big key in other dungeons, potentially. So, Tam is setting up a door juke, and this one in particular is a double juke. You have to do it twice, and he's buffering using the movement of the bomb to see how many frames that Link is moving, because Link is not visible right now. Okay, so they have got the first one. They have to do this again, or else it's just not going to work. I personally don't do this trick, but they do not have many options right now, not having any bottles. Tam's other options would be to do like Hyrule Castle or GT, and they get the second one. Very nice. So Tam is now in Thieves Town, in Cave State, and able to do pretty much whatever he wants, or whatever they want to do. So the easier way to do this would have been to use a bottle, but again, they do not have any bottles available, and Tam wisely remembering to set up the key dash before going up the stairs to avoid getting dragged back down the stairs. A very easy thing to forget. The stair glitch happens a lot in glitched modes due to unconventional routing. So, Tam is making good use of the fact that they have the Thieves Town big key and not really bothering to do much in here without... I'm assuming this is going to be exiting and re-entering to just clear it in Thieves Town state, which will save time, because if they defeat the boss in Cave State, they will have to make another trip to collect the crystal or pendant, whatever that may be. And this way is just more efficient. It's very smart routing. It's just knowing and being aware that you have the key. So this is another fake Dark World screen because Tam did not do a world transition. They just traveled through the underworld map to access a different area of the overworld. So is able to be linked specifically on this overworld screen. Oh, my mistake. Okay, I'm being corrected in chat. So when you do the bomb juke method, you actually can't even fight the boss, because the sprites are desynced. I forgot about that. I'm just used to seeing people do the YBA to enter, but my point is still true because Tam did not even bother to unlock the cell doors So it's saving a little bit of time on not going over there. By just knowing that they have the big key. But that's interesting. I did forget that certain glitches will desync Link from the sprites on screen, so you'll be unable to interact with enemies. So Quake is our first medallion. The Doomtap gets his 4th crystal. But the significance of the medallions is important if Mire is a crystal. But we do not know if that's the case yet, and which medallion is the Mire medallion. Doomtap's setting up another index, it looks like. I think he was unable to successfully use the first one, but I missed what he was trying to do in Eastern, unfortunately. Looks like we're seeing a Eastern play from Doomtap, or it could potentially be a Mire play as well, if he is able to successfully hook push. But Doomtap was already here, but did not complete the boss, because it is somewhat of a lengthy endeavor if you aren't able to hook push to the boss. Or to the back. Hook pushing to the back, like, alone wouldn't help him because not having the bow. The 2 rooms in the back with the red Igors would be he wouldn't be able to get past them. There is a hook push directly to the boss, but I am not sure if that's possible with this specific equipment setup or if Doomtap knows that. And we got our first bottle on Pendant Blind. And Tam has shown some frustration at that fact. Doomtap, not sure why setting up a hook push in this room, or was trying to. Because it's the room above this one that you would hook push from to go to Mire, unless there is a way to go 2 rooms north that I'm not aware of. I mean, I have seen it done, but not in Randomizer. Oh, right. He could have done the Samaria hook push to Armos. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I wasn't thinking about that. I was kept fixated on the bow that Tam has that Doomtap does not have. Yeah, that's right. I apologize. My mistake. But Doomtap, with the save and quit index, had one attempt to create a slot 9 block. Yeah, that's correct. I'm clearly not even awake yet. I apologize. That Samaria hook push is the fastest way to get to Armos Knights. And it would have been possible, but it looked like Doomtap was trying to go to Mire, but wasn't in the correct room to do so. Even if they had succeeded at misslotting the Samaria block. Yeah, he might not be setting the index correctly. That's a good point. I know the first time he attempted it, he did explode a Samaria block before doing the fake powder. So that might have been successful, but yeah, if you don't fill the other front slots with Ancilla, then you won't get the slot 2 powder, which is needed for the high index setting. And meanwhile, Tam has fake fluted to 7, and this is the real Dark World. So fake fluting gives you a Super Bunny state, and when you have the Super Bunny state and you grab onto a tree pole location, you can activate a link state, despite being in the Dark World without the Moon Pearl. This link state is good as long as you do not enter and then exit an underworld location. So you can do whatever overworld checks you'd like, and you can do like specifically one underworld location as link. When you re-enter the overworld, the game will check to see if you have the Moon Pearl again, and you will be a bunny after that. Meanwhile, Hyrule Castle from Doomtap. This is kind of amusing. Doomtap setting up a long death warp. Well, the lamp is just for free in Hyrule Castle. Okay. That's pretty big for Doomtap. Unfortunate that he doesn't have the bow still, because Overworld Conveyor combined with hook pushing would give him access to like pretty much anywhere he wants to go for the most part, regardless of not having a bottle. So the lamp is really important in No Logic because it sets the search index to a high value by just lamping quickly 3 times in any direction other than to the right. And going straight back to Eastern, it looks like. I'd imagine we're going to see... Well, we might not see Armmost Knights right away, because there are advantages to going to Mire and defeating Vitreous in Eastern State. But either way, we are going to see a hook push, like, almost certainly. And a nice citrus. Love that little shortcut to Eastern. Oh, a nice magic refill there. Okay. This is going to be the Samaria hook push to Armmost Knights. Okay, has the slot 9 block and the second block. Detonates the block and beams the direction he wants to go. Buffers the hook shot until the frame connects. Then a timer in the game runs out while the game is paused. And then it shoots you the direction that you sword beamed. And this is Doomtap's second very tedious Armos fight of the race. I missed the second bottle on Tam's side. The first one was on blind, I'm pretty sure. The second one must have been at Dig Game or Hype Cave or Stumpy, because he did a lot of Dark World Overworld. Oh, Hype Cave? A crystal from Doomtap from Eastern, and we get a YBA from the well to Ice Palace in Cave State from Tam. So, this is, I suppose, technically our second YBA of the game. The first one was an Overworld YBA, a fake flute. And this YBA is the more useful of the two generally, in No Logic. The Underworld YBA it can use to transport you to a different room on the Underworld map. Basically, it just skips a room, because all the rooms of every dungeon and what you would call in Cross Keys as connector entrance. Every room in one of those locations is on the same map, basically, and there are maps online. You can see how they're laid out. And so hook pushing or doing YBAs can allow you to just access other rooms by taking advantage of knowing the layout. Doomtap setting up a hook push to go to Ice Palace as well. Very nice. This race has gotten very interesting, both at 4 crystals, and both now have mobility items. Oh, that is a good point being brought up in chat. There is a Samaria setup for the overworld conveyor. I am just used to doing the bow setup, but Doomtap might know that, and so our remaining crystals are Mire, but we don't know the medallion. Ice they're doing right now, and Turtle Rock. So Doomtap, if he knows the overworld conveyor, can definitely do Turtle Rock. They both can definitely do ice, because they... Well, Doomtap just has the glove and hammer. Well, as does Tam as well, but... I guess they both just needed to get in. But if they didn't have that, they would be doing another YBA or a hook push to get to the boss. So... I'm not sure how Tam... Oh, Tam has the mirror as well. Oh, that helps too. It's not a super easy solution for... but... I don't know, it's gonna be harder for Tam to tackle TR than Doomtap, assuming that Doomtap knows the conveyor. A nice fight from Tam, and both pick up Tempered Sword in the U, Spike Room, and Ice Palace. So... it should be easy boss fights from here on out. Not that they were having any issues beforehand. The 5th crystal for Tam. Still no knowledge of the Mire medallion. Oh no, we do know that it's Bombos. Well, that's unfortunate that they don't have that, but at least knowing is something. Doomtap is farming, but I'm not sure exactly why. I'm sure that Doomtap knows you can dupe the fire rod shots with sword beams. At least I'm pretty sure that he knows that. Maybe not, because he's continuing to farm and takes a hit, unfortunately. Okay, well, gets hearts at least. So meanwhile, Tam is doing the overworld conveyor to Mire. There's a mis-slotting a bomb into slot 9 with certain timing. You can create the overworld conveyor, and this map wraps into the Lost Woods, and right now they have 2 frames to release a sword spin that will allow them to carry this conveyor into the underworld. That's why they're being really careful with these buffers. Doomtap has meanwhile done the fire rod dupe with the sword beams that I described and successfully defeated Cold Stare. So Tam was successful at the first couple steps, and now also the last step of the conveyor. Gets a 3rd bottle, okay. So Tam should not have any issues with anything anymore. It's not the funnest go mode, but I can say with confidence that Tam certainly knows how to complete the game at this point. But having 3 bottles and the mirror... Both at 5 crystals. Where is Doomtap going? Doomtap is... This looks like a TR play. There are a number of ways that he could access the right side of the mountain in the Dark World. The way that he's choosing to do right now is setting up a mirror portal and then boots clipping well as Link and then going back into the portal. So this allows him to get onto a teleport pixel. And this is what's known as the TR climb. Not normally done as a bunny, but he didn't have a choice right now if he wanted to do it. And I'm pretty sure that's not where you want to go for that. But that's okay, he can set it up again. And so this is just a simple mirror clip. That by clipping into the terrain with the portal, you can just jump down. That's the very old knowledge of the game, but it's still useful for glitched modes. But I'm curious where he wants to go in here with no big key. I am guessing he does not know the overworld conveyor to get to Laser Bridge because he could go straight for Trinex. Yeah, he would use the overworld conveyor to get into Laser Bridge and then Death Warp to get Link State like we just saw. And then he can hook push to get to Trinex. Meanwhile, Tam... doing a STC. I'm guessing he already did a North one that I missed. Okay, and I'm guessing he was successful, because it looked good. But, so the result of that should have been that the Trinex big key door was deleted, and that it just made getting to Trinex a whole lot easier. He was still able to do it, even without deleting that door, but this is just way simpler. I mean, the trick that he did to do that delete was not easy or trivial by any means, but the other way to get to Trinex at his disposal is a notoriously punishing double YBA. And being that he doesn't have the Moon Pearl, he would have had to... he probably would have just overworld conveyor to get there. He wouldn't have had to do the fake flu, but either way, it's time consuming to get to Laser Bridge if you don't have the Moon Pearl. Okay, now we're getting a bomb clip. Very nice. Right, this is a YBA. Tam is going back to Mire. Probably to do the boss, I'm guessing, or keep checking items if they didn't clear everything. Okay, this is just going straight for the boss. Since they have the desert big key, and the game thinks that Tam is in desert, they can just go through the dungeon normally. Well, normally in the dark, but still normally. This is difficult to learn when you first start doing Randomizer, but once you do it enough times, these dark rooms are not a huge deal. Even showing off a little, getting a dark spooky, very nice. So I wonder what the goal of this play for Doomtap is. Obviously just items, but what I'm curious what he's looking for though. TR big would be simple. He could easily just go to the boss, even though he does technically have access to that already. The Mire medallion is probably #1 on the list of things you would want. And Tam Not even getting the green pendant, doesn't care what's on it. It's just setting up his powder index, saving and quitting out of the boss room. Very interesting. Meanwhile, Doomtap has done an STC to check the roller room and mirrored back. I did another STC earlier to check the lava chest that I didn't mention. Mirroring to go back to the real Dark World, and now into the real Light World to check Mimic Cave. Alright, so Tam is in Hera, and I assume this is first step of doing the Mire dupe. A bottle in Mimic Cave as well. Hey, so we have now seen all 4 bottles, very interesting. And it comes with a blue potion. That might have been what Doomtap was looking for, because if he wants, he could just do a fake flute and then... Well, I don't know what he's going to do, but he could do... If he doesn't want to do the conveyor, he could do a fake flute and then just do a rap to get to Laser Bridge as Link instead of as a bunny. So meanwhile, Tam doing a South STC. The result of this specific corruption is that it's going to delete the throne room door in Hyrule Castle. Or from the backside, the sewers. And the significance of that is that that specific door swaps your dungeon ID. The intended purpose of this from the developers was to just change it from Hyrule Castles to Sewer State. However, no matter what your dungeon state is, it will swap that dungeon state to another dungeon. And so, in no logic, what this is used for is to get a crystal from a dungeon that you cannot enter through the front door, or you can't access the boss room from the front door, or whatever the case may be. So it just so happens that Mire is paired with Pod, so when you go from Pod to Hera, and then from Hera to the sewers, and then exit and re-enter that door, we're getting a hook push from Doomtap, by the way. Unfortunately, did not have the effect he was going for. I think he's trying to get past the big key door, which... obviously didn't work, unfortunately. So, anyways, back to Tam. Setting up a wrong warp to Hera using a red potion. So, eventually he's going to get to the sewers, and once he gets to the sewers and goes in and out of the sewer door, his dungeon ID will be changed from Pod to Mire. And after that, he's going to go back to Hera into Moldorm's room with the Mire dungeon ID set. They will acquire the Mire crystal. Doomtap buys a potion. Did not see what color it was. Sam maybe having a little bit of trouble with this clip. It happens. Okay, gets it. Okay, so got the fake flutes. Let's check the Mire medallion. The Doomtap setting up a mirror super bunny when he could have just got knocked through the door by the bird. Either way, gets it. The 4th sword is certainly not anything that Doomtap needed right now. Oh, Doomtap only has 1 bottle. Okay, so if it was a green potion, that's interesting. So Doomtap could use that green potion to bypass oh no, it's blue. Alright, so he didn't... I'm an idiot. He didn't fake flute at all. He just used the regular portal by Mire with his mitts. Which is, you know, something we don't usually remember to do in no logic, because we just glitch to go places. But meanwhile, Tam has successfully done his YBA to get back from the sewers to Hera. Meanwhile, Doomtap is doing a fake flute for real this time. Now, I'd imagine this is just to get a Link stage in the Dark World. So Tam, in Mire state, but in Hera, now entering the boss room. With the boss defeated, the game will spawn the Mire crystal. And Tam has 6 crystals now. So Doomtap has decided to flute to 7 and use the statue to get a Link state. And goes to Hype Cave. Well, he's going to get a bottle here. I'm not sure if that's what he was looking for, but I mean, it is helpful. Tam gets a blue, then a green. Okay, Tam setting up an overworld conveyor. This is a lot more difficult for Tam than it would be for Doomtap if he was trying to do this, because the Tam's method of setting the index is very limited use. Once the index is set, they only have one shot to get the miss slot, whereas Doomtap having the lamp can just try again, provided he has the magic to use the lamp again. Not super relevant because Doomtap is not doing overworld conveyors, but Doomtap will be doing misslotting though, with hook pushing, I would imagine. Although, okay, this has to be the Mire play from Eastern now. Meanwhile, Tam's still working on conveyor. And unfortunately, doesn't get it. And unfortunately, using a lot of arrows and magic on redoing this index. I could be wrong about this, but I'm somewhat confident that you can hard reset to get your search index back, but that might be false. Oh, really? Okay, well, okay, I was wrong. Thank you for that information. Well, that's unfortunate for Tam, then, having to use all these resources, and the time as a resource as well, every time. And it looks like they changed their mind, and they're gonna do something else. Yeah, with potions and the mirror, Tam could, and Samaria, Tam could traverse through Turtle Rock relatively normally. Just gonna use this portal here with the hammer pegs, and then mirror clip into the middle the way we already saw from Doomtap. Meanwhile, Doomtap having a little bit of trouble setting up this hook push. This room's kind of weird, but gets it. Very nice. Yeah, this room with the camera unlocked, it was like all your previous practice of this room is, you know, far less helpful than it normally would be because the enemies appear in the Wizard Hope's teleport patterns are like totally different. Tam has this mirror clipped into Turtle Rock. And I'd imagine they are going to use a YBA to bypass the big key door. Yeah, that's what we're seeing right now. really fortunate that they found the mirror, because otherwise would have to walk all the way around every time that they fail this. Oh, I think that Tam accidentally drank the potion there. Yeah, I think they are setting up a portal save and going to Flute to buy more potions or something. Or just maybe oh, you can buy a potion right here. You don't really need to Flute. Okay, that's true. You know, Doomtap exploring Mire. I'd imagine this is a search for the Mire Medallion. No other item in the game would really help him quite as much as that. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure Tam was not that thorough and did not get the Moon Pearl. That's interesting find. Okay, so that's still a time save. It's not as much of a time save as the Mire Medallion would be, but Doomtap now can just directly go into Laser Bridge with a clip, like just on the mountain. It's kind of awkward, but I'm sure Doomtap knows how to do it. There's a setup for a mirrorless. Or no, he has the mirror, never mind. Yeah, it's really simple to just get into Laser Bridge if you have the Moon Pearl and the mirror. But I was thinking about the mirrorless wrap for some reason, probably because you can do that with a fake Flute linked state. Doomtap also having the lamp. This is, yeah, just normal Mire at this point. Meanwhile, Tam gets the YBA, has gotten past the door. And from here, just has to go to Trinex. Has already deleted the door in front of Trinex, so not having the big key, or a means of bypassing that door otherwise, or, you know, not anything he has to worry about, or they have to worry about. Yes, to address a question in chat, Tam has the Mire crystal already. Sorry, a bit late to that one, I think, but yeah, Tam literally just needs to do Trinex, Agatu, and Ganon, and they are done. And we get a relatively normal Vitreous fight from Doomtap. Forgot that he doesn't have the bow, but it doesn't really matter. You could see that on Tam's side, the door is suspiciously and conspicuously absent because of the delete they did from Mire earlier. The very heads-up play. So, yeah, I do find it interesting that Tam missed the Moon Pearl. Probably just thought it was a slow check and didn't want to do it. But, like, they were in cave state, so keys would not have been an issue. Or, actually, the first time they were... Yeah, the first time they were in cave state. The second time they did a YBA from desert, so... I don't know, interesting. It's really hard to know what to skip and what to check in this mode. As it turns out that the lamp was just for free in Zelda's Cell, and that would have helped Tam a lot, but regardless of that, Tam has 7 crystals and is firmly in the lead of this race. Now it's going to set up a quadrant glitch. After the quadrant glitch, there's going to be an STC in the door, and Tam is going to be warped directly to the Agatu fight. Doomtap is in pod, meanwhile. I'm not sure what he's doing, or if he... Oh, yeah, he doesn't need to delete the door. Doomtap is doing the Mire dupe right now. He's just gonna do it with hook pushing. He doesn't have to delete the door. We're getting the same wrong warp that we saw earlier. Just needs to back out of the door a little bit before transitioning. Hey, Agatu is down for Tam. Oh, we get some attempts at the Clipe, but not today. I've been struggling with that lately a lot too, even though I used to get it like every time. Finding that first spot to start the clip can be annoying. Into the Ganon fight for Tam. So nice trident spin. Okay, gets the 1. Probably about to get the 1-in-1. Okay, on to phase 3 of Ganon for Tam. And meanwhile, Doomtap is in the sewers. Is gonna hook push past this door and walk back through it to get the Mire ID on his dungeon state. Arrows in Swamp Palace. So wait, both bows were in Swamp Palace? Oh, okay, game. That's very interesting. Okay, just a regular silverless Ganon. 12 spins to win. No big deal for anyone that's played Randomizer several times. I'd imagine Tam has done hundreds, if not thousands of seeds at this point. And Ganon is down for Tam. Very nice. And Tam has completed the race in first place with an official time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 13 seconds. GG's in chat for Tam. Very nicely played, despite not having a lot of very nice items that we saw on the other side. And I am not seeing a forfeit from Doomtap, so I am not sure if he wants to. Yeah, Doomtap is continuing, which, no, that is his right to do so. Alright. Okay, gets the hook push back to Hera. I'm not sure. I didn't miss if he did the first one through the door to get, like, to change the ID with the sewer door or not. I'm not sure. Oh, 0 out of 8 on the compass. Okay, so Doomtap is for sure in Mire state and is setting up another hook push. This is interesting because you could Hera pot. And he's wall clipping. I am joined by Tam. Congratulations, GG.
Hey, thanks.
So, yeah, we saw a lot of interesting things in this seed. I can say pretty much confidently that you were in the lead the entire time, but it was pretty close for most of it. Doomtap was late to the bottles, and he got the Hype Cave bottle as his second bottle, and he got his first bottle actually in Mimic Cave, and but he was still managing to progress because Doomtap found the hookshot in Ganon's tower behind Ice Armos, and the lamp was actually in Zelda's cell, so Doomtap was able to accomplish quite a lot despite not having bottles for the longest time, and he was keeping it pretty close for the most part, but continued searching for items, presumably to deal with Mire. And I'm guessing he didn't know the overworld conveyor to Laser Bridge to deal with Turtle Rock. So, but for you though, it was really interesting seeing. It was unfortunate that you didn't get those overworld conveyors to work for you, but were still able to, just quickly finish anyway. I don't know. Did you have any thoughts about this, or like when do you think you for sure wanted to like start go moding?
It was kind of tough. I knew that I was stressing the whole time about something being in Ganon's Tower because like it was a pretty. I thought about going really early, and then I decided that I was close enough to go mode that I could not do it. But there were so many items that I wanted that could have been there. I felt pretty confident. I think I found some pretty good solutions to a lot of the problems that were not immediately apparent, and especially getting the bow pretty early was a good feeling. I kind of started just playing really aggressively because with no bottles but still being close to go mode, I felt that I could get a lot of dungeon clears that maybe other people might not have the glitch knowledge to do maybe as efficiently as I was doing. And then yeah, the conveyors were I don't know. I know what happened with the first one. I don't know what happened with the other ones. After the second one went wrong, I realized I probably needed to find another solution that wasn't the conveyor if I was going to keep it not working. But I didn't feel good about what I ended up doing, really. In theory, I could have avoided opening the Turtle Rock big door, like the one that I made the Mire trip for, but it felt, with the combination of doing a lampless conveyor into a double YBA, it seemed likely a net positive for me to open the door on a separate trip and just not have to worry about the YBAs.
Yeah, I really liked that play of deleting the door. It made sense because with not having the Moon Pearl and you not even having the lamp either, that we knew was not exactly hard to get to. Yeah, the double YBA is like high stakes enough without all of that as well. I really did like the play of deleting the door, so it just made it a lot simpler for you in the end. We did see the Moon Pearl from Doomtap's side. It was actually in Mire, I believe that's the compass chest north of the torches.
Yeah, the one I didn't do. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, but that's the thing, you never know.
Yeah, I didn't mean to clear so much of it. I just wanted to go, like, maybe get one or two items, and I was like, I mean, it's so quick to just get all the items, but yeah. The Mine being key was funny.
Oh, I missed that. Where was that?
I was in the Maya spike chest.
Oh. Yeah, so it got eaten because you weren't in Mire state.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that scene was pretty interesting though. I kind of like the ones that start off difficult, where bottles are kind of difficult to get, because it kind of, when you have a lot of bottles early, it's just like you kind of autopilot a lot of dungeons, doing it the same way you always do it, but I had to do a lot of thinking in this seed. Although I really wish I had just got the lamp.
Yeah, it looked like you guys might have been a little bit frustrated with your like early options after you cleared out most of the light world. Like Doomtap made the Ganon's Tower play, and you went into Skullwoods and also eventually juked to Thieves Town, which I'm not sure if Doomtap knows how to do that, but I know that's certainly not a thing everybody knows how to do.
Mm-hmm. I was getting prepared to do. I wasn't sure if it worked, but I was gonna go, if I didn't get any bottles from Thieves Town, I was gonna go to GT and then do an STC from the meetup room to get to Ice Palace, because I didn't have a good way to Ice Palace. But GT was going to be my path to Ice Palace, but so I'm kind of sad that I didn't get to do that. But
Wait, I'm sorry. Which room is that? That you can get to Ice Palace from?
I wasn't sure if it works, but you do like an STC in the meetup room, the invisible floor room, and then fall in a pit. And I think it takes you to Ice Palace.
Oh, is that the same one that you used to go to Rando room?
Yeah, but instead of transitioning, you just go down to the bottom of the room to make sure you're in the right quadrant and then fall in a pit.
Oh, that makes sense. I've fallen in that pit on accident doing the YBA is probably different than the STC though, so maybe that's a different destination, or I'm not sure, but it's what you're saying makes sense. If as long as you know where to fall.
Yeah, I wasn't relying on it to work, but I figured that even if I go there and it doesn't work, I'm gonna find something useful in Ice Palace. So. I mean, in GT rather.
No, I really liked the routing that you did though, and especially the door delete, and wow, you were just on a very steady pace through the whole seed, even though it was close for quite a lot of it. It was, I don't know, it was just kind of a weird seed where the bottles were like buried, but you weren't like completely helpless with exploration. It just wasn't like free, like you said, like with all the bottles up front. So I don't know, I really did enjoy the race, and congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I was kind of terrified, especially when I started failing the conveyors, because I know that Doomtap won't admit it, but he's a pretty good player, and he does know a lot. And if he had found something like Bombos or Total Rock Big, that it would have been a big advantage over me. And I was getting kind of worried about like this series in general. So I'm quite glad to have won. And I'm really looking forward to my next series as well. I've kind of joined, not so much to win, but to like have fun and kind of show people a lot of the fun things you can do with glitches, and I feel like I've been doing that. So.
I definitely agree with that, and yeah, I'm glad that. Yeah, I think the point is to have fun. I mean, obviously, if you are good enough, it would be nice to win, but not saying you in particular, but for anyone. Like, I had no dreams of winning the tournament, but you know that these are fun to do, and a lot of people are not exposed to this format, so it's been really cool to kind of show people like, hey, this is another way you can play the game. And I personally think it's more interesting, but even though it does require a lot more knowledge up front, but it's nice to show this to people that there's so many different ways you can enjoy the game. And yeah, so do you know who your next opponent is in the lower bracket?
Not yet. I'm playing the winner of Fox vs. Yoho, which is happening in 20 minutes, I think. So
Okay, all right.
Paying close attention to that one.
All right, well, congratulations again. And GG's to Doomtap as well. A very nice showing in the tournament. Doomtap is a very experienced runner, although a little bit new to the no logic format, but I personally enjoyed watching Doomtap play in this tournament. It's always a treat to watch Doomtap play. Their movement and execution is extremely crisp and solid, and unfortunately they will not be continuing in this tournament, but it was nice to see them play, in my opinion. So, I guess with that, do you have any more thoughts before I wrap this up?
Just thanks to you, of course, commentating in the tracker and for SpeedGaming for streaming and everything. I'm glad that these are getting so much podcast time. It's been pretty cool. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, thank you for Mad Ewok Herd for tracking and a little bit of setup, and I'm not sure who was helping on Restream, but thank you to them as well. Congrats again to Tam, and GG's to Doomtap as well, and thank you everyone for watching. More No Logic coming up. We have 3 races on SpeedGaming 5, and SpeedGaming 6 at 4 p.m. Eastern. So I'll see you there.